fire. We're out here on this cold roof.
Why so serious? No, but of course we're here to, to talk about Mirror's Edge, so we have to be outside and jumping off rooftops, and aren't you up for it?
DICE is generally known for like battlefield games, and now all of a sudden they're making a parkour game.
They actually experimented with tanks in the game, or like vehicles, because that's the DICE thing to do. But this is not like anything DICE has ever done before, and it's unlike a lot of things that we've seen in the gaming industry before, because it's, regardless of what you think of it, it's a very brave move to sort of let the player choose whether to be violent or to try to resolve a situation in another way.
I see you now. There's a sniper team guarding this area. You can get back in on the other side. Be careful, Faith.
But for people who manage to miss what Mirror's Edge is from the beginning, what can you tell us about the gameplay, just in general terms? It's
a first-person parkour game, just like you said. I mean, you're running rooftops, you're running through drainage systems and warehouses, and you're basically your Faith, this superhuman runner who can make just slightly unbelievable jumps. I mean, it's not outside the realms of possibilities, but it's crazy. Yeah.
Kind of like a first-person Prince of Persia game.
Kind of like that, but much more complex in the control system, much more, I would say, refined, because Prince of Persia, while it did have a lot of platforming, it's still sort of fairly easy, and you wouldn't fall in the same place 5 or 10 times, which you will do in Mirror's Edge, and you will scream bloody murder, and you will wake up the neighbors if you play in the middle of the night, just like I do. So the feeling I get from it is a little bit like an adventure or a puzzle game, where you know, you're gonna have to do a lot of trial and error, and that's maybe my biggest concern with the game as well.
Yeah, but the trial and error part of the game is it's always there. It's always on your face. You run a bit, and then you die. You run a bit again, you die. How much did that affect your gameplay?
Well, I mean, there is a learning curve to seeing things. The first few missions you play, you get the runner's vision, the red stuff in front of you all the time, very, very close to you all the time, and you can see what you're going to do. Of course, you're going to fall a few times anyway, but you have someone is holding you in the hand. Then the objects that are red will move towards the distance, just like a goal. And at that stage, you're going to fall a lot, and you're not going to see where to go, and you're going to stand and be confused. And if you're chased and you don't know where you're going, you're going to get shot and killed. But when you play it a little bit more, you start seeing things in the environments, you start seeing routes, and it will be a much more fluent experience. And it's when you reach that fluidity that you really, that's where the game is at. I agree, there's a little bit too much trial and error, and I think it also has to do with the way that we're conventionally thinking about a game and how a game should be. You have to sort of unlearn what you've learned.
But just looking at when I play the game, when you get into the, as you said, the fluidity and the flow of the game, you just run and it's amazing, and an amazing feeling. And the physics in the game, you feel like you're actually Faith, and I found myself like all the time flinching in the sofa.
Yeah, and that's a bad thing if you're playing the PlayStation 3 version, because it uses the 6-axis. So you have to turn that off if you're a girly player or something.
I'm just very afraid of heights. What do you think about the design of the game, the graphics?
I mean, from a technical standpoint, I'm not that impressed. Especially on the PlayStation 3 that I played, some of the textures were fairly low res, but that's like something. If you look at the design and the overall feel of the game, it feels very fresh, very different, and very special. It feels like a special game that you enjoy being in that world, even though it's barren and sterile and not healthy at all. You sort of enjoy it because it just looks, it's something about the color schemes and the big flat surfaces. I guess it appeals to my sort of Nordic heritage. I don't know.
And also, it's a game where you're not supposed to stop and look at the textures.
Well, I mean, sometimes you're forced to do it because you're supposed to press a button on the wall and then ugly comes out and looks you straight in the face. Mirror says there are stuff to complain about, and mainly possibly I would say also the way the story is told. I'm not a big fan of the way the story is told. I think there are interesting characters, but I didn't get gripped by the story. I got gripped by the gameplay, and maybe that's the way you should feel about it as well. I don't know.
But to summarize your general impressions of it.
It's a brave game. It's a game that I think people should try. It's not for everyone, and especially not if you feel the need to have a gun in your hand when you're first person, when you're playing in first person perspective. And I think a lot of people will miss the gun, just like the Danish reviewer did. But at the same time, I think it's something you should try out. And if you enjoy it, I think you can enjoy it immensely. And I did enjoy it, so I had a good time with it.